can't believe he left you alone tonight. If I were him, I wouldn't let you out of my sight looking like that.
You are terrible.
Thanksgiving always smelled like cinnamon and secrets in my family's house. Every year I walked through that front door expecting warmth, laughter, food, the soft buzz of wine and nostalgia. But behind the laughter was something else, something I pretended not to see until it became impossible to ignore. It began subtle, the way most trouble does. My cousin Aaron had that effortless charm people write songs about. He could make a stranger feel like a lifelong friend within 5 minutes. Women, especially, seemed to orbit him, even the ones who came with someone else. I used to admire it until the day that someone else was me. The first time I brought a girlfriend home for Thanksgiving, I thought I was showing her my roots, the jokes, the chaos, the love. Instead, I showed her Aaron. He met us at the door with a grin too wide to be innocent. "Welcome to the madhouse," he said, giving her a quick once-over before shaking my hand. "You must be the brave one dating this guy." Laughter harmless, right? I told myself it was harmless. Dinner stretched across a table big enough for 12 and tension enough for 20. Aaron was everywhere, refilling glasses, passing dishes, stealing laughs. Every time my girlfriend spoke, he leaned in just a little too close, like her words were a secret meant for him. I laughed along because that's what you do when you can't name the unease. You laugh, you sip, you pray dessert comes fast. When we left that night, she said quietly, "Your cousin's funny." And then after a beat, "Too funny." I brushed it off, "That's just Aaron." The words tasted like denial, but I swallowed them anyway. Year 2, new girlfriend, same house. I'd forgotten the sting until I saw him again, already moving chairs around the table like a stage manager. He looked up, grinned, "Hey man, hope you don't mind," figured I'd sit next to our guest so she doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Our guest, my girlfriend. I smiled so tight my jaw ached. That night he performed again. The jokes, the compliments, the gentle touches on her sleeve when he laughed. My family loved it. They saw energy, generosity. They didn't see what I saw, the way his eyes never left her face, the way her smile turned uncertain halfway through the meal. By dessert she was quiet, by the time we got home she was distant. And I stupidly was defensive. "He's like that with everyone," I said. She gave me a look that said, "You know that's not true." But denial is a comfortable house, and I stayed inside it for years. The pattern became tradition. Every Thanksgiving I brought someone new. Every Thanksgiving Aaron turned up the charm. It was always the same dance. Inside jokes that excluded me, private whispers during cleanup, laughter that felt rehearsed. I'd catch her glancing my way, unsure whether to laugh or retreat. I'd sit there smiling, pretending it didn't burn. The worst part was Aaron, it was the silence of everyone else. My aunts adored him, my uncles said he kept the energy up. If I ever hinted that his flirting crossed lines, they brushed it off. "He's just being friendly, don't be so serious." Friendly doesn't make your partner blush in confusion. Friendly doesn't linger after the joke dies. By the third year, I knew it wasn't an accident. He liked the reaction. He liked knowing he could do it right in front of me, right under the family's nose. And maybe deep down, he liked knowing I wouldn't stop him. That year I brought Emma. She was confident, warm, quick to laugh, the kind of woman who lit up a room. Aaron noticed before she even took off her coat. "Whoa," he said, half joking, half something else, "you really upgraded." The room laughed. I did too, because anger would have made it real. He positioned himself next to her again, of course, he always did. It was like watching a slow car crash in perfect detail, the leaning, the refilling, the endless compliments. She handled it gracefully, polite but distant, but every few minutes she'd glance at me, silently asking, "You okay with this?" I was. But I smiled anyway. Then came dessert, pumpkin pie, laughter, wine. Aaron raised his glass. "To family," he said, "and to whoever brings the best company each year." The table cheered, my face burned. Emma forced a laugh that didn't reach her eyes. That night in the car, silence wrapped around us like fog. Finally she said, "He's your cousin, why does he talk to me like that?" I had no good answer. "He's just Aaron," I muttered again. She turned to the window, "Then maybe next year you should go alone." That hit harder than I expected. not because she was wrong but because she was right. The next Thanksgiving, I didn't bring anyone. I told myself it was to take a break. In truth, I couldn't face another round of humiliation dressed as family bonding. But Aaron noticed, of course he did. "No date this year?" he asked, all mock surprise. "Guess no one could handle the pressure," I said, trying to sound amused. He grinned. "Or maybe you're just saving her from me." He laughed. I didn't. For the first time, I saw the flicker of awareness in his eyes. He knew exactly what he'd been doing all along. Christmas came, then New Year's. He didn't stop. Even without a date beside me, he kept the jokes alive, teasing, probing, reminding everyone of his self-appointed charm. I realized it wasn't about attraction anymore, it was about dominance. He loved the stage, and I was the straight man in his act. So when I finally did start dating someone new, Maya, I hesitated to bring her home. She'd heard the stories, she thought I was exaggerating. "Come on," she said, laughing, "how bad can a cousin be?" I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe this time would be different. The morning of Thanksgiving felt heavy before it even began. Maya looked stunning, all calm confidence. I warned her on the drive, "He's a lot, just stay close." She smiled, "I can handle charming men, I've dated you, remember." I smiled back, but my stomach tightened anyway. The moment we walked in, I felt it, the shift in air, that unspoken spark of performance waiting to ignite. Aaron spotted us from across the room. "There he is," he boomed, "and this must be Maya, the famous girlfriend I've heard way too little about." He kissed her hand, too long, too familiar. Maya laughed politely, unaware of the history. Dinner was déjà vu in high definition. He rearranged seating for balance, which somehow placed him right beside her again. My seat ended up on the far side, separated by two chatterbox cousins. Every time I tried to catch her eye, his voice cut through the noise, telling stories, asking questions that made her laugh. Laughter that once made me proud now made my blood run cold. Halfway through the meal, my aunt clapped her hands. "Aaron, stop hogging her, let other people talk to Maya." He chuckled, "What can I say, she's fascinating." The table laughed again. Because that's what they did, they mistook tension for fun. Maya looked at me with a faint apology in her eyes. I gave her a smile that didn't reach mine. Dessert arrived, sweet and heavy. I excused myself to the kitchen for air. When I came back, they were gone. Panic isn't loud, it's quiet, sharp, electric, immediate. I scanned the room, laughter still filled the table but not from her. Then I saw through the window Aaron and Maya on the back porch under the string lights. He was pointing at something too close again. She stood stiff, her arms crossed. I felt my pulse climb. My mother called my name, but her voice came from another world. I stepped outside, the cold hit my face like clarity. Aaron turned, that same smug grin plastered across his face. "Hey man, just showing her the view, you gotta admit the backyard lights look amazing this year." Maya's eyes met mine, uneasy, uncertain. I heard myself say, calm and cold, "Aaron, go back inside." He laughed, "Whoa, easy, I was just..." "Now..." The word sliced the air. Something in my tone stopped him. For once, he didn't have a comeback. He shrugged, muttered something about someone being sensitive, and walked past me into the house. Maya exhaled, "He's intense." I nodded, "Yeah, he's also done." That was the first time I'd said it out loud, the truth I'd dodged for years. Done pretending, done excusing, done letting family mean surrender. But truth has a cost, and mine was coming. Inside, conversation dimmed when I returned. Aaron was already telling his version, how I'd overreacted, how I'd made it weird. Eyes turned toward me, curious, half judging. I didn't defend myself, I didn't need to. Maya reached for my hand under the table, grounding me in the silence. After dinner, Aaron avoided me, busying himself with dishes. When the night ended, I said polite goodbyes, the kind you give before a long storm. As we walked out, my aunt whispered, "He means no harm, sweetheart, you know how he is." I smiled without stopping. "Yes," I said quietly, "I do." That night Maya didn't sleep right away. Neither did I. We lay in the dark, the sound of the wind against the window. She finally said, "You did the right thing." I wanted to believe her, but in families like mine, doing the right thing feels a lot like betrayal. The morning after that Thanksgiving felt eerily quiet. The smell of roasted turkey still lingered in my jacket, but so did something darker, the kind of heaviness that settles in when you finally stop pretending. I woke up before Maya, poured myself coffee, and stared out the window. The reflection in the glass didn't look victorious. It looked tired. My phone buzzed, a message from my mom. Aaron feels bad, he said things got awkward, maybe just call him, smooth it out. Smooth it out, that phrase hit me like a slap. Years of discomfort, humiliation, and emotional erosion, and all I was supposed to do was smooth it out. Maya came into the kitchen, hair loose, voice soft. How are you feeling? I shrugged, relieved I guess, but also angry I let it go this long. She touched my arm. You drew the line, that's what matters. But she didn't know my family. In my family, boundaries weren't fences, they were suggestions, and anyone who enforced them was seen as dramatic. By noon, my phone was buzzing again, cousins, an aunt, even my uncle. The same chorus, different words. He was just playing. Don't take it so seriously. You know Aaron's. Yes, I knew Aaron. I knew him better than any of them, better than I ever wanted to. That night I got his text. Hey man, sorry if I made things weird, didn't mean anything by it. You know I just like to joke around, no hard feelings. It read like an apology, but I could hear the smirk behind it, the "you're too sensitive" between the lines. I stared at it for a long time, thumb hovering over the screen. Then I typed. Aaron, stop flirting with my partners, it's not funny, it's not harmless, it's disrespectful, don't do it again. Simple, firm. No anger, no debate. I hit send and set the phone down like a final stone on a grave. The next message didn't come, neither did the next holiday invitation. My mother called a few days later. You really hurt his feelings, she said. Good, I replied, maybe now he'll understand what that feels like. She sighed, your family, you need to find a way to forgive. Forgiveness, I said quietly, doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. The silence between us said everything. For weeks, the air felt heavy. I skipped Christmas that year, so did Maya. We stayed home, made lasagna instead of turkey, lit a candle instead of a fire. It was quiet, easy, unremarkable, and that made it beautiful. But even peace has ghosts. In January, my cousin Melissa called. She was younger, blunt, the one who always saw through the noise. I heard what happened, she said. You weren't wrong, you just broke the rule. What rule? I asked. The one where everyone keeps pretending everything's fine. We talked for over an hour. She told me about times she'd seen it too, Aaron leaning too close to other women, cracking jokes that crossed the line. Everyone noticed. No one said a word. It's easier to call you dramatic than admit he's the problem, she said, but you did what none of us did. That call didn't fix everything, but it cracked something open. For the first time, I didn't feel like the villain in my own story. Months passed, spring melted into summer. Maya and I got stronger, not perfect but honest. That holiday had tested more than my patience, it had tested my backbone. By the time Thanksgiving rolled around again, I hadn't spoken to Aaron since that text. I told my mother we'd come, but only if everyone understood. No jokes, no seating games, no more that's just Aaron. She hesitated. You're serious about this? Dead serious. We arrived late, intentionally. The house looked the same, but the energy was different. I walked in with my hand on Maya's back, steady, grounded. Aaron was there, of course, sitting across the room, drink in hand, surrounded by cousins. He looked up when we entered. His grin faltered. Hey, he said, voice quieter than usual. Glad you could make it. I nodded, thanks for the invite. Dinner felt cautious, like everyone was waiting to see if the floor would give way. The conversation stayed safe, football, recipes, weather. Aaron kept his distance, his charm, that overpolished weapon, stayed sheathed. Halfway through dinner he spoke. I owe you an apology, he said suddenly. I went too far before, I made things uncomfortable, that's on me. The table froze, even the clatter of forks stopped. I met his eyes. For the first time there was no smirk, just a flicker of something that looked like shame. I appreciate that, I said, thank you. And that was it, no dramatic music, no applause. Just quiet understanding hanging in the air like steam over gravy. After dinner I stepped outside for air. The sky was clear, full of stars. Maya joined me, wrapping her arms around herself against the cold. You handled that perfectly, she said. I exhaled, it only took 4 years. She smiled, worth it. Inside, laughter picked up again, lighter this time, genuine. The air didn't buzz with tension, it buzzed with peace. That night, driving home, I thought about everything those years had taught me. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. And sometimes the hardest part isn't closing them, it's keeping them shut when guilt comes knocking. I realized something else too. Family isn't defined by shared blood, it's defined by shared respect. Aaron and I would never be close again, but that was okay. Not every relationship needs repair, some just need distance. As the road hummed beneath the tires, Maya rested her head against my shoulder. So, she said softly, are you ready for Christmas? I laughed, only if we host it. She grinned, deal. And for the first time in years, the holidays felt like ours again. No stage, no games, no audience. Just peace, truth, and a quiet table we built ourselves. The lesson burned deep but clean. Sometimes protecting your love means standing up to your blood. And sometimes the loudest revolution is the calmest sentence. Please stop, that's not okay. That line saved my relationship, my sanity, and my holidays. And maybe in a way it saved me too.